Hello and welcome, everyone. This is another Enough Already podcast. We want to welcome our listeners, not only in this country, Tracy Connors, in cities like Mountain View, California, New York, Greeley, Colorado, and Durham, North Carolina, but also our international listeners, Tracy.
Wow.
We get them too, international listeners. This week, according to our SoundCloud, the fine folks at SoundCloud, we want to welcome the folks who are listening in Switzerland,
Nice,
Morocco, Poland, France, Nigeria, Ireland, Canada, and our friends in the United Kingdom. Welcome. If you like the Enough Already podcast, Tracy, they could do us a solid and head on over to the iTunes page there.
Yeah, that would be great.
Give us a review, 5 stars, preferably, please.
Yeah, as we said, we've provided you with hours of entertainment. You can provide us with 30 seconds in return. We'd appreciate it. And while we're shouting out to our international listeners, big ups to Switzerland. I'm not sure that you saw the story or not, where they banned a woman from getting a Swiss passport, because she was an obnoxious, annoying vegan that had driven her town crazy.
Oh, well done.
They have a subsidiarity system of government where local people get to make the biggest decisions, and this woman had tormented the town she lived in with her veganism and bitching about the big bells that the cows wear in the town. Because, that's cruelty to make these cows wear bells, plus the sound is really irritating.
Why do they make cows wear bells?
Well, so you can hear them coming. They're fast-moving, dangerous animals' fingers.
Right, I understand. That's what I don't get. I mean, I understand if it were like a deer that could dart in front of your whatever Swiss Miss car you're driving in Switzerland, if you are driving. But, a cow. I think you could avoid a cow without having to have some sort of audio signal that it's on its way.
I don't
You
know.
would think.
I'm not going to name names, but I do have a friend that in the past year hit and killed a cow on a road.
How's that happen?
I don't know. I still haven't gotten a straight answer.
It darted out in front of me, officer. I swear I wasn't looking at my phone.
Came out of nowhere. It leapt in front of my car.
Oh, my gosh. I actually did call 911 once for a cow that was too close to the road.
You didn't just try to shoo it?
Well, I was driving 55 miles an hour down a road, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning. It was dark, and I was turning a corner, and there was the head of a cow sticking out in the road. If it had worn a bell to warn me,
yes,
maybe I would have been able to avoid it easily, but I almost hit it. So, maybe I shouldn't be mocking your friend for almost hitting a cow.
You definitely shouldn't, because it's a great
story. Then I called 911.
What did they say?
I said, they go 911 emergency. I said, okay, it's not an emergency, but it could lead to an emergency. Just want you to know, on this such and such road, there's a cow on the road. Oh, okay. We'll send a squad car out. Okay, thank you. That was the end of that.
You're a good Samaritan.
Well, safety is my number one priority, Tracy.
Sure.
Wow. We need to get our crack team of researchers on why cows wear bells.
All right, I can handle that.
Okay. Do you use Bing, Google, or Ask Jeeves?
I usually use Google.
Oh. They're filthy bastards.
They are. They've got me sucked into their web.
Well, before we get into the news, I may need your help here.
Okay.
I may have a drinking problem.
No.
Well, I never realized it until this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't drink much around the house.
Okay.
I really don't. I just bought a bottle of Woodford Reserve, and I've only had one drink out of it. I think I bought it like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I don't drink at home. But I met friends Saturday night at a bar, and 2 of them are mothers of small children. So they had to leave at like 9 o'clock. So we got together 6, had dinner. And then they left at 9. And then my other buddy, who had about a 45-minute drive home, stuck around for about a half hour. And then he left. Well, I had a free lift, so I took a lift to meet them.
Uh-huh.
So, as he was leaving, I was like, well, I got to wait for my lift. I'll go sit at the bar by myself and have a drink, and then I'll get the lift. And that was at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there, and I thought, one more. I'll have one more. Oh, they got a jukebox. Yeah, I'll put $1 in a jukebox, and I'll have one more drink. I closed the place down by myself. Is that a problem?
I don't know.
I was like, I got a lift.
Sure.
Grab an Uber home. What do I have to worry about? And there were, it was a sports bar, so I'm watching sports.
Sure.
College basketball. This is the worst time of year for sports.
There's tennis on, too?
Probably. I think the Australian Open was going on or something, I guess. But, so I'm sitting there watching sports. I don't remember what I was watching because, the details of the night are kind of foggy. But then I took a lift home, and I didn't get home until like 2 o'clock in the morning. My friends left the bar 3.5 hours, 4 hours earlier. Do I have a problem?
I'm going to say no.
You tell me. No? Because I haven't had a drink since.
Yeah.
It was Saturday.
Yeah. You're an occasional alcoholic.
Can you dabble in alcoholism?
I'm not sure.
Do we know doctors that can
diagnose?
Yeah, tweet me at Fingers Malloy. Let me know. Those are the signs of alcoholism. Well, yeah.
Yeah, report that to a doctor and watch your premiums go through the roof. If you've had a cigar once in the last year, they'd nail you.
That's true.
So you gotta keep this hush.
Yeah, and I'm speaking of cigars, I'm really disappointed, that CPAC's coming up in a couple of weeks. Yep. 3 weeks. And, they've got the new MGM Grand Casino in National Harbor, Maryland, where they have CPAC every year now. That's where the conference takes place. So the casino, this MGM Grand, is less than a mile away from the conference. So, naturally, I'm excited about that. And I thought to myself, it's going to be great. I'll be able to, play a little blackjack. If I get annoyed with people, I'll go play video poker. And I'll be able to smoke a cigar.
Non-smoking
casino.
Yep.
That's madness.
It's insane.
So you wouldn't even be able to, if you go to a non-smoking casino, can you use your e-cig?
I use my e-cig everywhere. I don't pay attention to the rules.
Good for you.
I've been thrown out for doing it, but I just pretend as if I'm not completely unaware that any smoking ban applies to me, because it really shouldn't.
Well, it shouldn't.
No.
Because you're better than most people.
Well, and it's also just water vapor. So if you can have a hot cup of coffee with steam rising off of it, why can't I use my electronic cigarette?
Water vapor kills, Tracy.
It's true. It's the biggest.
I've heard people complain about the water vapor, though, because it goes through your lungs and then gets exhaled.
Yeah.
And, people can have lung AIDS.
Sure. I got over my lung AIDS a couple months ago. So
good for you. Oh, good God. But what kind of bullshit is that? I mean, a casino that you can't smoke in?
No, it's nuts.
Well, apparently they originally, because I did some research.
Of course.
Because I thought, because at one point they were talking about putting a cigar bar in the casino. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is going to be great. But then the Baltimore, or not Baltimore, but I read it in the Baltimore paper, Maryland stepped in and was like, nah, you can't do that. Ugh. Because the other casinos in Maryland are non-smoking, and you'll have a competitive advantage. Plus,
so it's a competitive advantage to have that.
Well, at least they admit it.
That people want that.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I do feel better walking out of a casino that's non-smoking.
But it's really, I mean, the air filtration systems they have in them anymore are so good that it's really difficult to tell.
And they've conditioned now most smokers to be damn near paranoid about lighting a cigarette next to someone. Most of the smokers I've been around when I'm, playing video poker will ask me, does this bother you? No, are you kidding me? I want to actually bum one from you if you don't mind. But God almighty, I was like, what a disappointment. So I'm just going to have to, I'm still going to gamble there, but I'm going to be bitter about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you enjoy the weekend?
Yeah, it was fun.
Were you at the Philadelphia airport by any chance?
Oh, yeah. I hustled on down there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Were you holding up a sign that says, I hug refugees?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Cuban super aides come now.
Oh, is that where you want to start? Because it's been a fascinating few days just sitting back and watching CNN regarding the Muslim ban.
Of course. Well, I mean, the freakout has just been sustained and constant. The focus of their ire, though, changes rapidly. And I think that's annoying them.
I just realized, I hope you're recording this.
Oh, I am.
Okay.
Are you now, too?
I am now, too.
Okay, great.
Drat.
Professional shop.
Yeah, that's right. Christ. But, it's been... do you think they can sustain this for 4 years? Is it possible?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of them might go into adrenal failure. I seriously do. I mean, you cannot sustain that level of outrage and paranoia and anxiety for that long without having health issues. And we're barely 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just a little over 2 weeks. And, I mean, we should bring back the old terrorist threat levels and recodify it for...
Trump threat level.
Yeah, the Trump freakout level.
Yeah.
Or Trump derangement syndrome prevalence this week. And I think it would have stayed in the red this entire time.
Somebody's going to rip off that idea.
Probably. Well, we'll get our team on it this afternoon.
Yeah, do we have some sort of graphic artist that could put together some sort of chart?
I will work on that as soon as we wrap up.
Oh, nice. So really, the chart may be done before this podcast is even up.
It's possible.
Wow. What a world we live in.
Well, let's see. I could just be shooting my mouth off. And this might also be a terrible idea that only you and I find amusing.
I don't know.
I just see us posting it every day on Facebook, and we never have to change it off of red.
Right.
But, yeah, so it's been really entertaining to watch the freak out. And, I'm a big fan of Scott Adams and his take on all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a piece out last week, January 26th to be exact, called Outrage Dilution, where he's basically talking about how there's so many things going on that it's impossible for anybody to fixate on one of them.
Yeah.
So this is what the average person takes away from all of this when you remove the hyperventilating media is, wow, he's sure doing a lot. And so the major takeaway, he says, is the question that everybody will be left with is what the hell every other president was doing during their first couple of weeks in office. Were they even trying?
Well, if I remember correctly, during the first days of the Obama administration, didn't they get a whole bunch of people in a room and lock them in the room, and they were assigned to different tables on how to and they were problem solving at the tables. They were coming up with like PowerPoint presentations. They'd have like John McCain sitting next to Snooki, and they were coming up with ways to stimulate the economy, and then they were reporting back to Professor Obama. Do you remember that?
I don't, but it sounds vaguely familiar that they had this like technocrat conference.
Yeah.
And then I remember the stories about Obama indignantly saying that he knew better than everybody about everything.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We found out that was true.
Of course. And then for show, let's just bring in a bunch of people, eggheads and politicians, both of whom are worthless. And we'll make a big presentation of the fact that we're really thinking hard about how to fix problems.
Yeah, whenever I see a bunch of people getting in a room for a photo op and talking about how we can improve things, I think to myself, see, now we're doing something.
Yeah.
Now we're getting things done, getting a bunch of people in the room. I wonder if they talked about winning back the culture.
I doubt it.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think the left openly talks about their cultural takeovers. They just kind of do it.
They just kind of do it.
They are losing their grip very quickly and announcing so publicly that they have no idea what's going on.
Well, they're going to go on a strike.
Yeah.
From what I see, until President Trump resigns, which I find incredibly amusing, especially if you are an aging starlet. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you want to do, right?
Sure.
Say, I'm not going to work for a while. Screw you.
Well, I mean, is it also that you weren't going to work anyway? So now it's just this convenient thing where we can act like you're being defiant and resisting, which I love. Anytime you see these Democrats talking, they try to shoehorn the word resist into whatever they're talking about.
You're right.
And what does that look like, per se?
I don't know, but I'm really going to be upset if Meg Ryan decides she's not going to make any more films. What am I going to do?
Oh, you're going to have to watch Sleepless in Seattle on repeat just to console yourself.
Well, she's really morphing into someone else anyway.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that face.
A lot of them are. They all end up with the same face.
Yeah. When did it become a thing where you have to inject a bunch of Twinkie fat into your lips? When did that happen?
I don't know. You think they would have learned when Lisa Rinna did it?
Oh, good God.
I mean, she's since had it fixed or tamed a little bit, but it was still...
And what a shame, because she used to be, like, wicked hot.
Yeah.
And then someone got and whispered in her ear, you know...
If you just filled your lips with BBs...
Yeah. If you put silicone breast implants in your lips, you'll look fantastic. Oh, God. What is that?
I don't know.
Looks like she got donkey punched in the lips.
Yes.
It's
I
terrible.
think most women suffer from body dysmorphia. And in this case, it's facial body dysmorphia, which I just made up. But I'm sure it'll be in the DSM next year.
Well, it does suck when you got guys, that can age and still get major roles. Mm-hmm. But as you get, TikTok for a woman.
Well,
I mean, I always thought it was ridiculous to see Tom Cruise do was a Jack Reacher movies.
Yes, and he does the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. I mean, he's 5'2".
Yeah.
When he was jumping up and down on the couch saying he loved Katie Holmes, I was worried he was going to slip in between the cushions and we'd never see him again. But he's going to go out and kick everybody's ass. He's going to take on 6 or 7 guys in a fight. I don't see that.
Yeah, well, it's a movie. You're supposed to suspend disbelief.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you got women like Jennifer Garner who were kicking ass in that, what was that show? Alias. And now she's like 42.
Oh, my God.
If she goes on strike, she won't even be able to get a Capital One commercial anymore.
Yeah, but she gets paid every time that thing airs, so she's
right.
She's doing okay.
But I find it highly amusing. Who gives a shit? I mean, who cares? I mean, most of these people can be replaced tomorrow. It's not like there's a shortage of people in Hollywood that would want to take their place because they're taking a stand against President Trump.
Right. No, and we can animate. We don't need you anymore. Thanks. Thanks for your service and your shitty movies.
Oh, my gosh. I haven't gone to a movie theater and seen to see an adult movie, and I don't mean porn, but I mean just like, I'm a...
Something rated R.
Yeah, I got to go see kids movies and stuff like that because I got a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. But like to go to a movie, like a real movie, it's been years.
There hasn't been anything that I've wanted to see on a screen.
I think the last movie I went to see was Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
And when was that?
Obama's first term, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last one I saw.
So they've been on strike in my mind for a long time.
Well, they've been refusing to make decent movies that would make you leave your house to go see it instead of just saying, oh, I can wait until that shows up on Netflix.
Right. My oldest daughter wants to go see La La Land.
Uh-huh.
She's like, come on, Dad, we'll go. And I'm doing this Atkins diet thing. So it's like, oh, man,
You can walk in there with a block of cheese.
No, I can't.
Nuts. Sure you can.
Oh, but people have that. There's nothing better than movie popcorn.
Oh.
As you know, Tracy, I have been on road trips, and if I see on the side of a highway a movie theater, I will pull over, walk in, get movie popcorn, walk out, and continue my drive.
I know, you're my hero for that. It never would have occurred to me that you can go in and get that without having to watch a movie.
No. They're like, do you have your ticket? No ticket for me today.
Just the popcorn, thanks.
Walk right up, get my popcorn, say thank you very much, and walk right out the door. Oh, it's fantastic. So I can't go and watch a movie, and then on top of it, like La La Land, isn't that a musical?
And dancing.
Oh,
and
who sings?
Jazz music, I believe.
Yeah.
No. No,
I mean,
I
it
like Ryan
sounds like
Gosling. I think he's semi-normal.
What was he in that I'd know?
Nothing that you would know, probably. Well, you just admitted that you don't go see movies about stuff.
No.
But he's pretty popular.
I mean, I guess I should be grateful. I think I would take La La Land over a cartoon movie.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of those kids' movies are really well done.
Yeah.
And they're cool to watch.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
But I went to Disney on Ice a couple of weeks ago. And the last 20 minutes of Disney on Ice was Frozen.
And
oh God, I had to sit through Frozen like 3 times. I just wanted to take a pickaxe to my head. So some of them are great, and some of them, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That was good.
Okay. I'll take
my word
for it. I will.
So let them go on strike.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Do it.
How do we go from Muslim ban to... How'd that happen? To La La Land?
How did the Muslim ban happen to La La Land?
How did we go from the Muslim ban to La La Land?
Well, we were
Muslim
talking
ban.
about Trump derangement syndrome, and then the chaos.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah. Please try to follow the conversation thread.
I'm sorry. I apologize. But what we've got? It's a Muslim ban.
Yes,
is what the lefties are saying. The Trump immigration order. The countries that are affected: Iran, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen.
Yes. Was that 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm no Middle Eastern expert. Mm-hmm. That may surprise you.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure there are more countries with Muslims in them than those 7 countries. And from what I understand, it's a ban on immigration from those 7 countries. There are people other than Muslims in those countries.
That would be correct.
But yet we're just gonna go with Muslim ban apparently.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a nice catch-all that really captures what it is. I mean, it's astonishing to watch this. So the list that they use, of course, everybody that's paying attention understands that this comes from the Obama administration and Congress. I believe it was on one of the appropriations bills. They snuck in, because you know how they love to pack these things, some kind of we need to do more vetting on people coming from these 7 countries. And we get those 7 countries from information provided to us by intelligence agencies, State Department, blah, 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 blah. So the most fun part, or at least one of my favorite parts of all of this, is when you see lefties talking about this. First, they say it's a Muslim ban, which is absolutely absurd. The largest Muslim country in the world, I believe, is Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
They have the highest percentage population of Muslims. Nowhere near on the list. Then we've got, of course, Saudi Arabia, which is the seat of Islam, if you will. And Pakistan and India and Bangladesh and Nigeria and Turkey and Egypt. And we could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep saying over and over again, well, why aren't Saudi Arabia and Pakistan on this list? And this is one of the things where I wonder, okay, is this the Trumpian open bid move? Where he's just like, okay, we'll take the list that Obama provided us because then we can get cover under that idea. Like, oh, I don't know. Ask the Obama administration why they weren't on it. But you guys want them on the list? Okay, cool. We'll add them to the list. Right? I mean, they're opening the door to that. It's really stunning. It's just like, oh, okay, so you admit that those are dangerous places and we should maybe scrutinize people coming there a little more. So do you want this thing or do you not want this thing? You want more people on that list. Okay, gotcha. They're on the list now. They're on the list.
But wait!
But. And another thing that I keep seeing is one of their talking points is, well, nobody from these 7 countries has ever committed an act of terrorism on American soil. And I've seen that reported in both left-wing outlets and right-wing outlets. And I thought to myself, remember that Ohio State thing? What was that, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
How quickly we forget. He was Somali.
Yeah.
He's a Somali refugee. So there's just one example. Whatever.
And wasn't there was an incident at the Mall of America?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And wasn't he a Somali too?
Probably. I mean, they flooded Minnesota with Somalis, which makes total sense. I mean, if you're coming from Somalia and you're looking for somewhere similar, the first place you think of is freezing-ass cold Minnesota while you're surrounded by 10-foot-tall blonde people. And say, oh, hi, how you doing?
I hug refugees.
Yeah, they do. Oh, hi, how's your day? Would you like some cast?
Is that your Scandinavian accent?
That's my Minnesota accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've spent some time there. Everyone was real nice. But they move slow as hell.
They do.
They're very slow.
And I was in Minneapolis for New Year's Eve once, and I think New Year's Day we woke up and we were going to go to watch football at a sports bar, and the high temperature was -11.
Yeah, I was there in October one time, back when I was in college on fall break. I believe it was around that temperature then, and there was 2-3 feet of snow on the ground already. It's like, why do you guys live here?
It is a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful place for maybe 3 months out of the year.
Right. But it's like, how is everybody so nice when this place is so miserable? But I guess, originally it was settled by the Scandinavian people, so to them that's an upgrade.
Yeah, and I suppose if they all know that they're all miserable together.
But they don't seem even the least bit miserable.
Drugs.
Oh, yeah. It's in the water system?
Probably.
So they get not only fluoride, but...
Chloride, lead, and Lexapro.
Awesome. Awesome. But yeah, so this ban business.
Yes.
I'm shocked, but I shouldn't be, that nobody bothers reading these things.
Well, readings for suckers, Tracy.
I know, and they're not even that long. I can understand why people haven't read the Obamacare legislation, for example, or Dodd-Frank or something like this, when these go on thousands and thousands of pages, and you have to cross-reference every other bill that they're mentioning throughout, which happens 6 or 7 times in a sentence. So it makes it almost impossible to get through the damn thing. But this is...
Well, yeah, we got that picture of me standing next to the Obamacare legislation, and it's taller than me.
Yeah.
Who's gonna leaf through that?
Nobody. That's the whole point of this. But I would say this executive order probably ran 2.5, 3 pages.
Mm-hmm.
That's not insurmountable. But everybody else would rather just freak out about it, give it no second thought. Of course it's a Muslim ban. Trump wants to ban Muslims. And you have stupid-ass Rudy Giuliani saying that on television. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Trump came to me and said, how do we ban Muslims without banning Muslims?
Unbelievable.
Moron.
Well, apparently he must be bitter. He thought he was going to be the attorney general or something, and
well, sorry,
his dreams
Rudy.
were crushed.
Sorry, dude. You lose, but don't go around doing that stuff. Trump will just crush you on the internet, and that'll be the end of it. But this is a temporary halt to develop better vetting measures.
I'm sure. Here's the thing. They can make it a temporary halt. They can make it 4 months. Mm-hmm. They can make it 6 months. They can make it 3 years. You're never going to convince me that they'll be able to vet these people properly.
No, I agree.
It's the federal government.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
Well, and you're relying on their home government.
Yeah.
So we have to rely on Yemen. And one of the things that hasn't been mentioned, except for people that like to kick hornets' nests, like one of my favorite professors, Thaddeus Russell, had written, hey, guys, guess what all those have in common? We've engaged militarily with those countries. I mean, with the exception of Iran, he's right. Like,
yeah.
We've been actively engaged in the Yemeni war on the side of the Saudis for years now, but nobody paid any bit of attention to it. Libya was not a destabilized state until Hillary got in there and messed with it. So honestly, it's Syria. We have no business being involved in that. But it's, again, it's a proxy war with the Russians, whatever you want. But so, okay, we've been actively killing people in those countries. Do you think they might be pissed at us?
No.
Maybe we should halt things just for a little while. Start mending fences.
No, we need to be hugging refugees, Tracy.
Well, and I love this. That now all of a sudden you see the stories of the individual that's totally crushed by this. There are professors that can't get back in here. And what about the doctors? They need to get back in. And you read the thing, and there are all these carve-outs for this visa, that visa, this visa, that visa. And they've also given leeway to the heads of DHS and the State Department to go case by case on this.
I think it's fair, though, to say that this wasn't unveiled in a, let's just say, a proper manner. The rollout could have been handled better.
Perhaps.
But, again, where was this freak out when the president, President Obama, decided that Cubans could not, if they stepped foot on U.S. soil, they were still going to be sent back to Cuba.
Right.
Where was the freak out there? There wasn't any because, the Cuban community voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. So screw the Cubans.
Well, it was also that Obama always meant well. He cares.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole ruse. They really care about people. So obviously there's a reason for this. And it also didn't get reported widely to the left. So as far as they're concerned, since it didn't show up on any of their outlets, it never happened.
Well, we don't want people dying in makeshift rafts, Tracy.
Well, only if they're fleeing the Syrian war, which happens to be taking place apparently in Libya and northern Africa.
Yeah.
I don't think these people have any grasp of geography whatsoever.
Syrian
immigrants are not leaving from Tripoli, guys. If you're fleeing Syria, why would you go south? Cut through. Let me just take a little detour and over to Tripoli before I go to Europe. Does that make sense?
I'm just, I haven't seen the numbers when it comes to these people coming to the United States, but, you were seeing it in Europe where the refugees that were coming were all young Middle Eastern men. I mean, without their families.
Well, and North African. I mean, Mark Stein was in for Russia over the Christmas break, and he was saying he had been, I want to say in the Netherlands, but I might be incorrect. And he was at a bar or something like that, and there were all these, air quote, refugees in there. And he described them. He's like, oh, hey, where are you guys from? And they're all like, Syria. He's like, uh-huh. And they're like, how old are you? And like, 19. He's like, that's weird. You guys are balding. And you appear to be North Africans. And so they finally fessed up that they were all from Gambia. And I mean, it's like the Little League World Series. Every once in a while they get busted for having those like 22-year-olds from the Dominican Republic masquerading as 12-year-olds.
The pitcher that's an 11-year-old that needs a shave.
Right, between the second and third inning. But it's such a massive scam. It's just truly stunning.
It's like Coneheads.
Oh, yes.
We're from France.
Exactly.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. But there's been a couple really good breakdowns of what exactly the executive order means. So I will link to those. And even, I don't know if you're familiar with Jonathan Turley. He's
been a guest on Gavin McInnes' show a lot, hasn't he?
Turley? I don't believe so. I don't think he would deign to be a guest on Gavin's show. No, he's an academic, credentialed academic lefty that weighs in on all things legal. So he has a blog where he posts about the legality of certain things, and he seems to believe that Trump's executive order is perfectly within the boundaries of the law, so that it was okay to dismiss the acting attorney general, which was another scandal that erupted over. Was that over the weekend or was that Monday?
I believe that was Monday, but that's another thing that cracked me up. If you would have had a Bush holdover,
right?
Defy President Obama's orders, there would have been torches and pitchforks.
Absolutely.
In D.C. But the fact that, Trump went ahead and fired an Obama holdover for disobeying his orders, it's totally unjust that Trump would fire someone like that. Of course.
Oh, my God. It's unprecedented. No. Remember when Nixon fired a bunch of people, the Saturday Night Massacre?
Yeah, I did see as I was walking out of work. So, I was walking by a television on and CNN was talking about it, and they called it the Monday Night Massacre.
Of course, one person. And they recast her comments on it, and in which the word unconstitutional was never used. She never said that. She was questioning the legality. So this is semantical games, but when you're talking about lawyers, they choose their words very carefully.
Right.
So she didn't say it was unconstitutional because, at least according to Turley, he's totally within his rights to do this. He's not overstepping boundaries of power. And there's, the Immigration Act in 1952, there's a subsection that says whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interest of the United States, he may, by proclamation and for a period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of any aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. Sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, no. They're going to have a religious test because they said they're going to give priority to people that are religious minorities from these countries, and the religious minority in these countries happens to be Christians. So therefore, it's a religious test, which is antithetical to our values and violates oh, God, spare me. Constitutional rights do not apply to everybody in the world, people.
Tracy. That's not who we are.
I love that. The Statue of Liberty is crying. They've literally said that. Chuck Schumer said it. Nancy Pelosi said it. It's absurd. And they believe that the poem written by Emma Lazarus that was affixed to the Statue of Liberty way after it was already in the harbor carries the weight of law behind it.
And by the way, I didn't think anyone could be a bigger piece of shit than Harry Reid.
Oh, come on.
I didn't think it was possible, but Chuck Schumer.
Oh, it was precious. Chuck Fake Tear Schumer, as Trump is now calling him.
Sad.
Was that with an exclamation point?
Yes. I don't even know where to begin with. We have made fun. How many times have we made fun of Glenn Beck?
For the crying.
And John Boehner for the crying. And now all of a sudden it's cool for a man to get in front of a camera and shed tears.
Well, he's before so full of shit too.
Well, there's that too. Did anybody see him squeeze a lemon in his eye before he got...
Well, did you see the side-by-side clips? And I'll find this and post it up on the Facebook page. That he gave a press conference or something. He was speaking because, he jumps in front of every camera.
Yes.
And I think it was 2015, talking about the need to institute pretty much the same policy back then. Totally
That's different.
Fine, not a tier. Steadfast. We need to keep Americans safe, and this is one way that we can do that. And
That's different, though.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing.
At least now it's easier to call these people out, thanks to Google and YouTube.
And thanks to a president with a Twitter feed that's not afraid to use it.
Right.
I mean, he's known these people. So over the weekend, I read The Art of the Deal.
Oh, you did?
It's hilarious. I recommend it. I mean, he likes to say, it's the second best book after the Bible.
Yeah.
I haven't read the Bible, so I can't really fairly make that assessment. But I have read other books that are way better.
Than the Bible? Even
than The Art of the Deal.
Oh, okay.
But it is funny, and I know that it was written, he had a ghostwriter and all that stuff. But it is written very much the way that he talks.
Uh-huh.
So it's just wildly entertaining. So it starts out with a week in the life, right? But it's only actually weekdays in the life. So it gives you a rundown of what his day is. So it's like Monday, 9 a.m. I'm on the phone with such and such talking about deals with this. Then 9:30. And it's just his whole damn day, phone calls, meetings, going somewhere with Ivana. Because this was written in the late 80s, I want to say, early 90s maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Going somewhere with Ivana. Then Tuesday, same thing. So that was pretty interesting to just hear who he's on the phone with all week. You're like, okay. And then subsequently we get into all these deals that he did. So we go through the Atlantic City buildup, fights he had with New York about different building projects that he wanted to do. The ice skating rink, of course, is a big central story in all of this. And
ice skating rink.
Yeah, the Central Park ice skating rink. You haven't heard
I
that
didn't
story?
I didn't know he was a part of that.
Oh yeah, so Trump Tower faces Central Park, I believe. Mm-hmm. So he could see that rink out his window. And they announced that they were going to rehab the rink in, let me just pick an arbitrary, I don't know if it was 80, maybe 1980, let's just say that for the sake of argument. They're gonna fix it. It'll be done in 2 years or something. So 2 years go by and it's not done. And he's looking out the window being like, Jesus, what the hell? Like in that time I've built, gigantic buildings. They can't.
Yeah, how 2 years for an ice rink?
Oh yeah. So the whole thing ends up when it gets into when it gets to the fourth year, he writes a letter to whomever it is that oversees this on the city commission or whatever and says, hey, this keeps getting screwed up. I would like a chance to do it. I think I could fix it and have it done in a couple months' time. No, thank you. All right. So year 6 comes up and he's reading in the paper. And this is a theme throughout this whole book, that he reads something in the paper and immediately just gets on the phone about it, which I think is so funny. And it's kind of like what he did with the media, where he would just be watching CNN and then call them and they would put him on air. So he writes a letter to Ed Koch and says, Mr. Koch, I've seen that you're in year 6 and you've just come out and announced that you're going to have this finished in 2 years from now. And at this point, they'd spent millions. And he said, I would like to take it over. I think they'd announced they were going to spend $3 more million on this. I will take it over. I will have it open. This was the spring. I'll have it open by next fall season. So November or December-ish at the latest. And I don't want a dime. Like, I'll come in under budget and whatever's left over, you guys can keep whatever. I just want it done, basically. And it sounded very pleasant. I mean, I don't think he included the entire letter, but at least enough of it that it wasn't like, yo, jackass, what are you guys doing? This is insane. So he just sends it to Koch privately. So what does Koch do? Koch writes him this snarky letter and sends it to the papers as well. So it gets published, thinking that this is going to be some coup for him, right? Oh, I shut Donald Trump and his loudmouth down. Like, whatever. The city's just going to keep plowing ahead, throwing money.
Oh, doesn't know what monster he's poking.
Well, the press, though, it actually benefited Trump because the press went, wait, why aren't you taking him up on this offer? And so they pressured Koch and the rest of the administration into turning it over to Trump, who, of course, got it done in the time necessary, under budget and ahead of schedule, all those wonderful things. So all of this led credence to my theory that he's been screwed over by the damn government so many times that this was his final FU back to them. It's just like, you know what, I'm just going to take this thing over. Because he talks throughout the whole book about the incompetence of it. So one of the guys that was involved in the rink building came in at year 3 or something and made an announcement at the press conference that he was taking over that if it wasn't finished in a year, he would resign.
Of course, he doesn't resign.
He does resign.
Oh, he did resign.
A week later, there's an announcement that he's now in charge of building all the prisons in the state. So Trump's like, wait a minute, this guy can't build a rink, but he's going to build all the prisons? This is what government does. And also all these things with the contracts. He said in the state of New York, they cap how much each contractor can make on a job. So say that they were pricing out a job that was going to be $500 million for completion. Well, each contractor is only allowed to be awarded a contract for, let's say 150. So then you got 4 contractors on this. So there's no way that they can work together efficiently, pretty much. And they're all union, I'm guessing. Right. And there's no incentive to get it done because they're used to these things taking forever. Nobody, even when they're doing these like rink projects, nobody gets out of the way with approvals and such. And they kept bringing in groups to study why things got messed up. Of course, you got to have a blue ribbon, a blue ribbon commission on the ice rink. Yeah, so these are things that he dealt with. He dealt with he bought a building and he was going to tear it down and build a new building, only to find out that the people in the building, it was an apartment building, were living in rent-controlled apartments. And it was a bunch of rich people, some of them. He said some of them legitimately needed the rent control. Like they were, lower income. But then there were a whole bunch of rich people that were living there on Central Park for peanuts. And they put up a whole big stink, and then they had to go to courts. It's like 2 years of dealing with that, and it's just madness. And he and Koch were at war for years over these kind of things. So I think that he has a good understanding of how all this works and how everybody tries to throw up barriers to getting anything done. But I recommend it because it was entertaining. It was entertaining as hell.
So I wonder when the movie version of that will come out, if Hollywood's not on strike, and the 9 o'clock, movie version of that, he gets up at 9 o'clock, immediately eats a puppy. Right. Yeah. 9:15 throws a gay off of the top of Trump Tower. Sure. That'll be gold.
It'll be great.
Should make it a musical.
Oh, that would be good. Maybe the cast of Hamilton can do it. I could see that.
Well, we've got 10 minutes before we're going to bring on our pal. Oh,
our female pal. You just made up a new.
There you go.
2 there.
Yeah, Ash Scow. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, we've got the Supreme Court nomination that came down last night.
Okay, here's my take on this. This is what I'm reading. At first, before he made the announcement, that what's his name?
Gorsuch.
Blanket. Yeah, Gorsuch was the nominee. That the Democrats were going to do everything they could to block this nomination. But now, what I'm hearing is the theory is that they don't want. This is not the hill they want to die on, because this is a replacement for Scalia. But didn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg at one point have pancreatic cancer or something?
I don't know.
She's 112 years old. She's probably the next one that's going to kick. You would think, like if you had a Deadpool going,
yeah,
it would be Ruth Bader Ginsburg on that court. I would think.
Yeah, I would think so.
So that's the one where they're going to do what they can to. They don't want to blow their wad on this one.
Well, that's you also have the problem is that he was nominated to a circuit court years ago, unanimously.
Yeah.
By a voice vote. So a lot of those senators are still there. And you're going to have a tough time explaining that one. Plus, 2018 is not a good year for Democrat senators.
No.
I think there are 10 from what they're calling now Trump states. So
yes,
those guys are going to have to think long and hard about this one. But I don't believe for a second, this isn't the hill we want to die on. You guys die on every hill. You're dying on anthills. I mean, they were protesting last night preemptively at the Supreme Court. So there's a whole group of agitators out there, and they had signs.
Oh, I'm not talking about those nuts.
No,
those
I
nut jobs
understand.
would
But
be-
Nancy
yeah.
Pelosi's up on, they gave her a town hall on CNN last night, which was a complete shit show. I mean, it was ridiculous. I strained ocular muscles rolling my eyes. And she, of course, launches into the like, well, if you don't want clean air and clean water and environmental protections, then you should probably vote against Gorsuch. What? You guys haven't gotten a new playbook yet, huh? I mean, this is weak. This is really pathetic.
Well, but that works for her in her district.
I mean, I guess.
And plus, on top, I've always thought that when you put someone like her in leadership, I mean, when is the last time she's had a serious challenge? I mean, once you win the primary, you're in that district. And nobody's primaried her with a serious primary challenge. I mean, I know Cindy Sheehan at one point ran against her. And I can't remember if she primaried her or if she, tried to go like on a Green Party ticket or something like that. And she got shellacked.
Sure.
Because their district loves Nancy Pelosi.
Sure.
So if you're never challenged seriously by another candidate and you're never asked tough questions by the media,
yeah,
you can just keep using that playbook.
Right. Well, it's just getting so old. I mean, at some point, it just becomes laughable. I mean, it has been to us for a long time, but the public at large, it's just, how many times are you guys going to say these same things? And maybe you switch up the order of them. But it's really, I mean, these are shallow.
Yeah, if you're really concerned about water, why would President Obama send $220 million to the Palestinians? Why didn't he send that to Flint?
Yeah. Yeah, they did absolutely nothing on that. I remember when the EPA, accidentally poisoned a river.
In Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Nothing came of that.
Nobody gets fired.
No. They just get moved over to the building in the prisons. No, it's absolutely pathetic.
After you poison a river like they did in Colorado, you shouldn't even be in charge of an ice rink.
Right. Right.
But nobody gets fired.
No, but I think that that's changing now, clearly. I mean, they're talking about slashing the size of the workforce at the EPA, regulations out the window, leave everybody the hell alone.
Yeah. I mean, how long? I think, was it like 18 months? For 18 months, the EPA knew what was going on in Flint and did nothing?
Yes.
Bang up job you guys are doing over there.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, screw with everybody's gas cans.
Right. Oh. Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the piece from the Free Beacon that Trump has already halted $181 billion in regulatory costs just on the first day with that regulatory freeze, which is standard. When a new administration comes in, they say, let's freeze everything because we want to look it over. But some of the things that they were talking about was fuel standard crap.
Good.
Of course, which never gets discussed. And I know you and I have talked about it because it's directly affected you.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why the domestic auto industry for years has, it's struggled. You got to build these cars that nobody wants to buy to cancel out the fuel economy of cars that people want to buy. They want the big SUVs. They want the big pickup trucks.
Yeah, well,
they aren't
they're
selling
pretty much the only safe cars anymore. Now you're making cars out of aluminum and plastic. It's insane. But this was one that I thought was really interesting that I hadn't heard of. This is from the Free Beacon article. One rule halted was the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Department of Transportation's plan to get this mandate that all new cars, vans, and SUVs install technology that would share their speed and brake status information with nearby vehicles.
Ugh.
And I just sit there thinking, oh, wow, now cops are just going to be able to give you speeding tickets without having to pull you over.
Right.
This is crazy.
Well, at first they'll say, well, we won't use it for that.
Oh, of course not.
But then 5 years down the road, they'll point at traffic accident statistics and say, well, geez, we really need to cut down on these deaths. People are driving too fast. We can...
and it's dangerous to have cops pull people over. Right. Potential for confrontation. So now we're just going... I mean, they do that kind of stuff, I believe, with the easy passes in some places.
Yeah.
If you get from one toll to the other and faster than you should, then they can ding you. But this is even worse. If every car has to just suddenly tell every other car how fast it's going, you can't tell me they're not going to use that to ticket people.
Well, and I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's still disturbing to me that they're talking about eliminating the gas tax in favor of a mileage tax, where your car keeps track of how many miles you've driven and you're taxed based on that. Yeah. Because the American people and the auto industry are doing exactly what bureaucrats wanted them to do. Mm-hmm. They're driving more fuel efficient cars, and when they do that and they're using less gas, then they're not collecting the tax revenue that they once did. So they either have to raise the gas tax or they have to figure out different ways of taxing people.
Yeah.
Government sucks.
Yeah. It sucks literally your money right out of your pocket.
Yeah.
But, oh well. Everybody's getting fired. It's going to be great.
All right. Should we bring on Ash?
Yeah, let's do it.
Add people. I'm going to add Ash. It's weird how Skype doesn't ring.
Sometimes it does, right?
A lot of times it doesn't. With Ash, it doesn't seem to ring.
Sal, I can't get to the phone right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
I'm not in the mood to leave a snarky message. Well, what did you do this weekend? We never get to get a peek inside of what Tracy Connors does away from the show.
I just told you that I read The Art of the Deal.
That took up your whole weekend?
Yeah, dude.
Huh.
For the most part.
Any wine or anything?
No. I'm like you.
No?
I'm an occasional alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, because with me, it's the eating, or the drinking and then eating. Out of control.
Out of control. Well, I'm down 10 pounds so far on the Atkins diet.
Excellent.
I got a little frustrated. Monday I gained one back, and I wasn't very good on the weekend because even though alcohol doesn't have carbs, it still has sugar.
Right.
I guess.
Yes.
Right. So it's not good to drink while you're on the Atkins diet. So I gained a pound back on Monday, and then I decided I really need to stop weighing myself every day.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. So I stopped weighing myself. So I'm just going to weigh myself every Sunday. So I'm down 10 pounds now.
Wow.
But the Atkins diet is fantastic for guys.
Yes.
I know every woman that I've talked to that's gone on the Atkins diet gets frustrated. Mm-hmm. They don't lose as much as or as quickly as guys do.
Women, period.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, but it seems like when you've got two people, a man and a woman, that are doing it together, they're both miserable if they're carboholics, and they see one person and the weight is just melting off.
Right.
You're doing the same thing, and it's not. It gets frustrating. But what's really driving me nuts right now, and I have cheated a couple of times this week, but I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to be a good boy. Is I've got 2 Girl Scouts in the family, and Tracy, I'm not exaggerating. Right now there are, I'm guessing, 20 cases of Girl Scout cookies in this house.
Wow.
Samoas, Do-si-dos, Thin Mints.
Yeah.
They came out with a new cookie this year, s'mores cookies.
Oh, God. I told you, just imagine that they're full of rat hairs.
But it's terrible. I could sit down and in one sitting, I could eat a whole box of Samoas and not even think twice about it.
Oh, sure.
Or a whole sleeve of Thin Mints.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. So it's driving me nuts.
I'm impressed with your restraint.
I've had, since the cookies have been in the house, I've had one Samoa cookie and 2 Thin Mints.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Last year, I would have already downed a whole box of Samoas and 1 box of Thin Mints, probably. I have purchased for myself, I've got 2 boxes of Samoas, 2 boxes of Thin Mints waiting for me when this is all over.
Put them in the freezer.
Yeah. I mean, I like putting Snickers bars in the freezer, the little fun size.
Oh, yeah.
Thin Mints are the same way. Frozen Thin Mint cookies are fantastic.
Yeah. No, frozen candy's great.
Yeah. But so you don't drink at home. So what is your guilty pleasure? Like if you were going to stray, because you're one of the most disciplined eaters I've ever met. The stuff you tell me that you typically consume, I don't know how. I would never be able to do what you do. But you were eating eggplant for a long time every night, and what's the new thing you're doing?
Broccoli and spinach.
Ugh. Every night?
Yeah.
Good God.
You just get used to it.
So what if you stray? You're like, okay, screw it. I'm going to have a night where I'm just going to go nuts. Is it ice cream?
No. Probably not. No, we're talking about 5,000 plus calories probably is what I would put down. It all depends on what's available to me. I mean, I will destroy a bag of, party size, whatever the biggest bag of chips is now called. You can do one of those.
Really? What kind? Like Doritos?
Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it would be like typical binge evening would be a 10-inch hoagie from Wawa. One of those.
From Wawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it requires the least amount of effort. I just go there, touch the screen.
Yeah.
Order it, go get my giant bag of chips. And if I'm being super duper piggy, I might pick up a little Ben & Jerry's pint or the Toll House Chipwich, which is delicious. Or one of the Entenmann's sugar-coated pies. You know, the ones that are dipped in... yeah. Glazed pies. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good God. You know what I like to do with those Cool Ranch Doritos? I like to throw a bunch of them on a plate and then put shredded cheese on them, put them in the microwave.
Oh, that's a sacrilege.
Oh, and then put sour cream on the side.
Why don't you just get Tostitos?
Well, I do that too.
Oh, okay.
But whenever's in the house. I won't do that with Doritos.
Okay.
But the Cool Ranch Doritos, like the nacho cheese Doritos, but the Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh, yeah. Put shredded cheese on it, melt it for like 15 seconds.
Oh, my God. This
That's
has turned into
fantastic.
like the Fat Kid podcast. Let's talk about how Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz are going to debate next Tuesday night.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. CNN is doing this weird thing now. Like every Tuesday, they have something different going on. So last night, they had Nancy Pelosi with her town hall where they were able to find the one of the 0.001% of women that actually has to have a late-term abortion because of medical reasons. Mm-hmm. So she was the first not planted questioner in the audience, of course. And what a hardship. And just tears, coming out of the Statue of Liberty's eyes while she's talking. But they had just announced next week it's Sanders versus Cruz to debate over the future of Obamacare.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. This is hideous.
Could they, they couldn't get anyone likable on the right to do this?
I don't know. I mean, who would you have liked to see more than Cruz?
Probably Rand Paul.
Yeah, that would be mine too. Because he actually has a plan.
Yeah.
And happens to be a doctor.
Yes.
But instead a good debater. I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is that a lot of people look at Ted Cruz and think that he is even more of a devil than Donald Trump.
Sure.
So I don't know if we're persuading people. I think I would like to have Dr. Paul up there talking about the healthcare system.
That would be nice. But we're not going to get that. So.
No.
But speaking of doctors, it looks like the Senate committee that these nominees have to get past, specifically Mnuchin and Tom Price. For some reason, I think it was the Commerce Committee. I don't know why they have to do with HHS, but that's a separate issue. The Democrats didn't show up today.
Of course.
This is part of their whole deal because they think they can gum up the works. Because in order to get somebody out of that committee to a full vote, they need to have at least one Democrat vote for it. So they figured out, oh, hey, guess what? We'll just suspend the rules. We have a majority, so we can vote to suspend the rules. So they said, okay, rules are suspended, and we're taking this to a vote of the full Senate. So
Good.
The shenanigans are over. Yeah, I mean, remember what a horror it was that we didn't have a ninth Supreme Court justice and how that was going to screw up everything. But right now, it's totally okay that we don't have somebody at HHS. We don't have an attorney general on down the list.
Did the Democrats pack up a bunch of buses and go to a Best Western in Niagara Falls, Canada? Is that what they did?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I'm reading right now, CNN has a headline that the Democrats are boycotting Pruitt's EPA confirmation hearing now. Yep.
Children.
Yes, pretty much. But it's resistance, fingers. They're resisting.
Okay, good for you. You're resisting by not showing up and doing your job.
Yeah.
But you're really not resisting because they're just going to go on without you.
Correct.
Okay.
No,
whatever.
Resistance was the wrong word for them to pick for all of this. Because they're not willing to go down with some hardcore resistance. Like, I guarantee you they'll all still be paying their taxes this April.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I can think of to actually resist participating in government, is to cut off the checks.
And California is moving closer to secession.
I love it. I love it. And I know in Oregon, there are little resistance meetings. I have family members attending them. And I had to sit on my hands to keep from snarking on their Facebook pages when they're posting this. Because I just picture this hippie shit show. We're going to plan the resistance, guys. Okay. So, what does that look like? Are you guys going to push for secession? I mean, there's been talk about having the state of Jefferson up in the Pacific Northwest for a long time. Are you going to leave? Period. I mean, is that the deal? What does resistance look like? Well, I'm sure they never even got to that because it was probably like, pass the mic, everybody introduce yourself, and then tell us your sad story. And that brings me to, I don't know if you saw the story coming out of, I believe it was Boston, where one of the somebody had set up a hate crime line. Yeah, Massachusetts Attorney General set up a hate crime hotline. Okay. So in the wake of Donald Trump's elections, and this was done so citizens could report being the victims of attacks by Republicans. This is from Truth Revolt. But guess what happened? It backfired on them.
Really?
Yeah. So a bunch of people who were Trump supporters called to report things happening to them. But they give, I guess it was in the Boston Herald ran a piece, so this is excerpted from that. These were some of the ridiculous complaints coming in from the anti-Trump people that were getting harassed. Quote, at a traffic light, someone yelled something that shocked her. So this is somebody, of course, like relaying this. And she would like to report it. So that counts as a Trump-related hate crime. Quote, a white man passed this woman and aggressively flipped her off. She then noticed that he had a Trump sticker on his bumper, and she had a Hillary one. This in these people's minds, this constitutes a hate crime perpetrated by evil Trump supporters. And the final one was some white women were wearing Trump shirts. They started harassing us and calling us names and said we had to move out of the country. This sounds like kindergarten playground crap.
Well, their movement to me, okay, they're having these resistant movement meetings. They need, like, you know how we the Tea Party had their "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flags.
Yes.
I think I've got a money-making idea for us, Tracy.
Okay.
We come up with a resistance flag
Uh-huh.
And I think it's like a flag with a giant safety pin on it.
Ooh. I'm liking this. Okay.
And instead of "Don't tread on me," "Resist we much."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, we got to get that in production tomorrow.
Sure. Well, I mean,
Can we
I
do
think
that
we should
with
have
our
been
people?
capitalizing off of this for a long time. I don't know. I'd have to dig it up, but there's some fraudulent group, and this is my description of them, not theirs, of course, that are trying to make a quick buck off that whole safety pin thing. And, educating people about their white privilege. So you and I can sign up to be educated about our white privilege.
Oh,
And
cool.
I can't remember what the monthly fee is, but I mean, even $1 is too much. But they'll send you every month a little box with instructions in it, and I believe safety pins. It'll tell you what you can do to make amends for your white privilege that month. And it basically sounds like a pyramid scheme if you read the details. Like,
So these
month 1, get 10 other white friends to subscribe. Month 2, now get them to get 10 friends.
So instead of carbon credits, is like Caucasian credits?
Yes.
Is that what's going on here? Wow. Damn it. Why didn't I think of that?
I don't know. It's amazing. We could be exploiting all of this angst to
This
our
is what we
advantage.
oh my God, this is what we should do.
Okay.
We start charging Caucasian credits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we take money from other Caucasians for their white privilege, and then what we'll do is we'll just go to like NAACP meetings and stuff like that and just apologize.
That could work.
And we'll take all of their sins, take the burden of their sins, all of the Caucasian credits, they'll pay us, and then we'll go to the NAACP and just apologize over and over again. Stand outside the meeting.
Make penance.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it sounds good. We could even lash ourselves. I mean, that's kind of what I'm waiting for it to get to the self-flagellation stuff.
Yeah.
It seems to be that's what they want. And I think I've told you this before, but just so everybody knows, I have Google Alert set up for white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to watch the ebb and flow of the number of stories that come out with that in it. So when I woke up this morning, I think I had 15 new white privilege stories.
Jesus.
And this is in the wake, of course, of the quote-unquote Muslim ban.
Right.
So it's funny it's the counter reaction to those kind of things. But I hope those people that are peddling their damn safety pins are really raking it in.
See, I think we should take the Caucasian credit money.
Uh-huh.
Caucasian credits will go up. We'll hug refugees.
Oh, yeah.
I think that we could really turn this into a movement, Tracy.
Well, maybe what we do is we buy shirts that then we can then take off. So we're taking the whole thing. We're literally giving them the shirts off of our backs.
Yes.
So that's where your money's going. And the shirts will be emblazoned with our resist flag.
Yes. Each shirt will cost you $75.
Correct.
We'll make them at Cafe Press for $1.99.
Uh-huh. And they will all be XXL.
Yes.
Because we don't want to body shame anybody
That's right.
by offering them a small t-shirt.
And we will offer some of the money that we make from this for Chelsea Clinton's next wedding.
Oh, lovely.
Which will be nice.
Or we could also make all of them, all the proceeds that we make will go to the, today I believe announced Biden Foundation.
The Biden Foundation.
Oh, it's a thing.
Why not?
It's a thing. He's going to focus on cancer research, military families, and violence against women. So Uncle Grabby is now getting in the business of protecting women from leprosy.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Too bad Ted Kennedy isn't alive to see this.
Well, Chris Dodd's still around, right? Wasn't he the one that was caught?
He was part of the sandwich. Yeah. Part of the waitress sandwich. Yeah.
He can help out Joe.
Well, I think we're about ready to wrap this up, aren't we? You got to get out of here to tend to other business.
I believe so. But I feel good about us. I think this Caucasian credits thing has some legs.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to rip this off.
Maybe it could be Caucasian discredits. Well, it's all about taking us down a notch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Caucasian discredits.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we
could make several dollars doing that.
Well, I would say that we would get shut down really fast, but times have changed.
It's true.
Oh, we just got to ride that outrage wave.
I think I'm going to bring this into CPAC.
There you go.
How much money I could raise.
I don't think anybody there has a sense of humor at this point in time.
Yeah, it's probably true. Where can everyone find the Enough Already podcast?
You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Facebook, and at enoughalreadypodcast.com.
Music for the Enough Already podcast, of course, is provided to us courtesy of YoPaulymusic.com. He's come out with some new tracks, Tracy.
Oh, yeah?
You should take a listen. If you're a podcaster, if you're putting a YouTube video together or something like that, you should contact Pauly over at YoPaulymusic.com. He'll hook you up.
Well, maybe he can put out a track for us to cut our Caucasian discredits commercial.
I think we need to do a video.
I think we do, too. I think you need to do it as if you were on the jewelry liquidation channel or whatever the hell that's called, your favorite.
The liquidation channel?
Yeah.
Normally, a carbon discredit would cost you $199, but today on the carbon discredit channel, $299. Be great.
Yeah, you just got to hit your lines right. We're doing Caucasian discredits, not carbon.
What'd I say?
Carbon.
Oh, carbon. Oh, shit.
I know.
See, I got to write this stuff down.
Yeah. Well,
I wear my glasses.
You don't have your glasses, so. Oh,
yeah, pretty much. Okay, follow me on Twitter at FingersMalloy. Follow Tracy on Twitter at Tracy L. Connors. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave a review on iTunes for us. 5-star, please. 5-star, Tracy.
Yeah.
5-star review.
Preferably.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
If you like the Enough Already podcast, please share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with people that you hate. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new Enough Already podcast.